You know when you're driving past a construction site late at night and you see those incredibly brilliant, almost alien flashes of light? It looks so intense, and it really makes you wonder, is welding in the dark actually more dangerous? Well, let's dig in and find out.
So this is the core question. There's this gut feeling, right? Even a lot of welders will tell you that working at night just feels worse on the eyes, harsher. But is that feeling actually backed by science, or is there something else going on entirely?
And there we have it. Right off the bat, our source material just cuts straight to the chase with this fantastic, blunt answer. The arc itself doesn't magically power up or get more evil just because the sun went down. So if the danger isn't the arc itself changing, then where does that feeling of increased risk really come from?
Okay, to figure this all out, we have to start with the source of all that light and energy, the welding arc itself. We got to understand what it's actually putting out and whether that output changes depending on what the clock says.
A welding arc is pretty consistent. It's always pumping out these three main types of radiation. You've got that intense ultraviolet light. That's the stuff that causes welders flash, basically a sunburn on your eyeball. Then you've got the blindingly bright visible light. And of course, infrared radiation, which is just a fancy way of saying heat. These are the fundamental ingredients of the arc.
And here's the key scientific point. Physics doesn't care about time zones. The process, the settings on the machine, the materials you're using, those are what define the radiation. There is zero evidence that the arc itself is biologically more harmful at night. So if the arc is our constant, we have to find the variable.
And it turns out, the variable isn't the welding machine at all. It's you. Or more specifically, it's how our own eyes are designed to adapt to the world around us. And this is where the story gets really interesting.
This right here is the whole ball game. Dark adaptation. You know that feeling when you walk from a bright room into a dark one and you can't see anything for a second? That's your eyes beginning this process. Your pupils open up, they dilate, to let in every last possible photon of light. Your eyes basically turn on their high sensitivity mode. So think about it. During the day, your pupils are these tiny little pinpricks, naturally shielding you from some of the sun's intensity. But at night, they are wide open, in full-on night mode, trying to suck in as much light as they possibly can. So the arc isn't changing one bit, but your eyes are doing something completely different. When they're in that state of maximum sensitivity, that sudden flash feels like a tiny supernova going off in your face. The drama isn't coming from the physics, it's a completely biological reaction. And this is exactly why it feels so brutal. Look at the difference. The contrast between the arc and a bright, sunlit environment during the day is one thing, but at night, the gap between the total darkness and that insanely intense flash is just off the charts. 5 million times. Let that sink in. That is the staggering, almost unimaginable difference in brightness that your poor eyes have to deal with at night. It's no wonder it feels more violent. Your eye is perfectly adjusted for near total darkness, and then bam, it gets hit with something that can be brighter than the surface of the sun.
So yeah, that extreme contrast is a massive issue. But the risks of welding at night actually go way beyond just the flash, because the darkness itself creates a whole new category of environmental hazards.
I mean, just think about it logically. In a poorly lit area, it is so much easier to trip over a stray cable or slip on a patch of oil you didn't see. You have no idea where those hot sparks are landing, which is a huge fire hazard. And you can't see reflections off of other metal surfaces or puddles of water until that arc flash bounces off them and right into your eyes from an unexpected angle.
And this quote brings in another critical human factor: fatigue. Working at night messes with our natural circadian rhythms. It just does. It reduces our alertness, it slows down our reaction times. Now, you combine poor visibility with a tired welder, and the chances of a mistake, a bad weld, or an accident just go way, way up.
So the real culprits here aren't the arc's physics. It's this perfect storm of extreme visual contrast, hidden environmental hazards, and human fatigue. The risk is absolutely real, but it's also manageable if you know what problems you're actually trying to solve.
And the solution, really, is to control the environment. You have to bring in powerful task lighting to shrink that brutal contrast gap. You've got to cordon off the area to protect everyone nearby from those stray flashes. You have to manage worker fatigue with proper shifts and breaks. And, of course, you have to be extra vigilant about making sure everyone is using the right personal protective equipment. And this is our final verdict. The arc's radiation isn't any stronger at night, But the overall risk of doing the job of welding is absolutely 100% higher if those other factors, lighting and fatigue, are not properly managed. It's not about the tool, it's about the conditions you're using it in.
So, this whole thing leaves us with a much bigger question to think about, doesn't it? This explainer wasn't really just about a welding arc. It was about looking past the obvious, flashy hazard to see how the environment around it can completely change the risk equation. It makes you wonder, what other situations in our work, or even in our lives, are just like that?